Okay, so I have to make this video. So I was playing Royal Trials because it just started, and like the last time this rolled around, I made a whole video about how I kept dying to Alchemist, and so then I switched to Alchemist, but I just put that in my rotation. Like, I was still playing like real decks, like regular real decks. And then whenever I didn't want to play one of my real decks, I would just play Alchemist, and then I would switch back to like a real deck, right? So a real deck kind of looks like this. It's Blade Dancer, Night Statue. It's my Blooming Dash Sharpened Spear thing. And I super died because I couldn't draw Blade Dancer. I guess I should have overlaid that with this gameplay. You can, if you really feel like watching me die, I just couldn't draw a Blade Dancer to save my life. I just kept drawing, like, Dryads, you know, the whole, like, Dryads, Night Statues. I think I drew a Portal Keeper at some point. I'm gonna make this entire video in double speed, because I'm gonna show you a bunch of different matches, and I think at double speed, it's, like, a reasonable, fast speed, without it being, like, insane. Like, once, like, a lot of stuff starts happening, you know? Like, you don't need to see that, right? But anyway, like, so I super died against Blade Dancer, or with my Blade Dancer deck, because I couldn't draw Blade Dancer. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Alchemist, and then I will just stop playing Alchemist, and I'll switch back to Blade Dancer, or, you know, real decks, regular decks, with, like, Bruiser or something, or, like, Inquisitor, like, Light Inquisitor is really good, in this format. I will switch back as soon as I lose. And I won fucking everything. I beat every deck. It's dumb. This deck is so fucking dumb. This is Demon Hunter. And I beat every single deck. And I'm gonna show you every single match, because I need you to understand. And I need the developers to understand. For God's sakes, make Alchemist a chargeable unit. I feel like, because they don't need to nerf Alchemist. Like, Crystalmancer is one of the units that charges. It's not just legendaries. There's another unit that charges as well. And it's not just a legendary thing. Like, it's every unit. Like, I mean, like, it's units that they deem to be worthy of a charge mechanic, right? Like, you can only use it every 5 battles that you do. And you're supposed to rotate, and that's how Royal Trials is supposed to work. Because originally, when it was, you could just run anything, I was just doing Blooming Dash every single round, because nobody was ready for it. And it had the ability to increase in damage and cleanse itself. Alchemist Golem is so good. Like, I can't understate how good this is. Because even if they're affecting you, which is what I believe this person does a little bit. I think he has a pocket curse. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. There was I played against like a deck that, yeah, I think it was like Robot Shaman or something like that. And even if the opponent tries to affect your board, you don't care about anything on your board. You're completely fine with merging everything out. And I changed this up in my later attempts. I took out Trapper and I put in Earth Elemental. Earth Elemental just gives you another attacker, because so much of your deck is support that you kind of sometimes need that extra attacker. It also does the double duty of giving you poison damage, obviously, so that your alchemists do more damage. But this deck just has the ability to go into the latter rounds. And so if your opponent is running a deck where they can't even get to latter rounds, you will win. If they can get to latter rounds, you basically get to a point where both of you would stalemate. Like, both of you would probably die at the same time, and whoever has slow wins. But what the Golem deck has the ability to do is just give your opponent a Golem, and then they die. Or you can, when it's the wave round, you just, like, time out your golems like trainers, and then you stall out the wave, and then your opponent dies. Like, it just beats everything. It's insane. It was, Tesla Shaman. So I go up against Tesla Shaman, and they have the ability to obviously affect my board. I'll play this at 1 speed so that you can see the Shaman hits. They have the ability to affect my board, obviously. But the thing about this is you're completely fine with merging everything out, or just accepting, the one hit, the single, shaman hit. You aren't going into too late of the game to where shaman will affect you as much. I almost thought that this guy was going to win because he, I was struggling in this early game. He probably had a mage robe, because I could definitely feel the effects of his mage robe, and I just could not level up my cards because you are doing so much with every single card. You're using Harlequins on your shamans. You're using Harlequins on your alchemists just to give you more alchemists. I'll talk about this deck in a bit. But you're using every ounce of your deck to do something. And I couldn't upgrade my cards, and because I was basically just trying to fill up my field. Meanwhile, he has a Tesla that has the ability to do AoE damage, and then he had just infinite cauldrons, and he was just obtaining so much mana. I was like, dude, this guy is going to shaman the heck out of me very, very soon. And what ends up happening is he has to sacrifice his cauldrons because he starts losing. So that ended up helping me as well. The thing about Royal Trials is that legendary cards are only at level 9. You're not getting the benefits of a level 11 talent or a level 13 talent or a max talent. So when you play Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, yes, it is a Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, but you don't have the Vortex. So, if you get screwed over early game, you could get screwed over early game. Usually the Vortex is what saves you. Dark Inquisitor, you can play Dark Inquisitor, but you're not getting the shield. With Alchemist, because it's a level 13, they're giving you access to all of these talents, which make it really, really good if it's your main unit. And it just defeats this meta. Because this meta of you can use a level 13 epic, or I think Alchemist is a rare. It's not even an epic. The fact that you can use a level 13 rare, but you can only use a level 9 legendary. Most people build their decks around legendaries, but they can only use the first talent, and usually the first talent isn't that great. Like a Light Inquisitor without the cleanse, a Dark Inquisitor without the shield. They tend to not be as good as their legendary, maxed out counterparts. So you look at a Dark Inquisitor as oh, this is gonna be so good to build around. It's yeah, but you don't have the shield. And if you don't have the shield, it's much, much worse. And first, I don't know who developed this, this entire like deck idea, but play Alchemist. I can't lose. I was already planning on making this as a video, but then I just played against a monk deck as my last one, and I was like, okay, surely I'm going to lose this one. Spoiler alert, I don't lose that one. And I can't understate how good this is. Now, I trust somebody's gonna be in the comments and be like, Alchemist isn't good, I just tried it and I lost. I trust that somebody is gonna counterpoint my entire video by saying something like that, something to that effect. But I'm just saying, for my experience, where I am in the game, my equipment, my hero level, it's really good. I think that is really good. I'm using it on my free-to-play account, and it's pretty much just as good. It just lasts for so long, and it lasts for as long as you need it to last. Alchemist outside of Rural Trials is not good. Do not run this in PvP. You will die in PvP. If you go up against a Max Tesla, Max Shaman, Max, this deck, but a max version of this, and you have a max version of Alchemist, you're not gonna win. Because, Alchemist has a cap of how much it can deal, and the cap is around where, a level 9 would start to fail as well, let alone any lesser thing. If they're running, an Engineer deck, for example. Maybe you're playing against people that are thinking that Engineer is, the best deck to run here. Or that's part of their rotation. But it's the fact that it has the ability to push into basically like Armored League. Like once it starts getting to Armored League, even with a Blooming Dash Blade Dancer deck, I was struggling like when it got to that amount. Like I would have like 50 Blooming Dash shards and I would still struggle because you're at a level 9 and you have 1,000 crit. Like you're not supposed to, like this mode is designed so that it doesn't go on forever, right? Because you have 1,000 crit. Like you may have like the legendary equipment, you may have a maxed out thing, but you're still at only 1,000 crit, which means your damage has a cap. And you can't be doing billions of damage in this mode with 1,000 crit. So around armored monsters, once it starts to transition to armored monsters, if you last that long, basically both decks will probably start to falter. But the thing about this deck is that you can then send them golems and either kill them during a boss round where they would normally just die or get a double hit from the one boss, or you can stun the wave long enough if you time out your upgrades. Because every single time you upgrade a alchemist, you get a golem, which basically acts like a trainer. Essentially what you do, this is more or less the time where you would start to see that somebody is going to probably lose, or somebody is going to lose. So here, like I maxed out my alchemist, but my my earth elemental isn't maxed, and he's still attempting to affect my board. I thought that I was going to lose here. Obviously I don't. But see on his board where he's starting to falter behind, this is where you start to time out your golems. Because both of you are about to die like around here. But he will die quicker because of your golems. And he's not dying to the fact that you're sending golems. He's dying because he's at that point where he can't deal with waves as efficiently anymore because of the 1,000 crit. At which point, if you just stall out your field, get the one boss in the next round, then send him a bunch of golems, they die during the boss round. Because their boss will be so large, no matter what it is. I mean, like, unless it's like a tamer or something, but they will be affected by the boss over and over and over. One, because they couldn't defeat the wave. And then two, because they're now being affected by the boss. So the talents that I'm using on this, that I'll talk about in this next game, this is robot. This is just regular robot. I'm using Invigorating Elixir, because what you really need, and this is when I switched to Earth Elemental and J. I really like the J tiles. I have a max out J, so that's going to be a factor. I get double J activations every so often. But what I'm using is Invigorating Elixir because, and you don't want to use the strength one, because it's not about the amount of strength that your elixirs deal. It's the speed that you need to keep attacking. You need to keep like throwing puddles onto the field, which is again why I'm using J. But J also allows you to nuke down the field. Whereas Gadget is a little bit too slow. So if you get screwed over early game, Jay has the ability to just like eliminate the entire, like your entire field. It basically acts like a meteor in the first round. And then if you have a problematic boss in the beginning, like when you're setting up all of your squares, you have a puppeteer, Jay will essentially kill off the boss, the first boss. And then it gives you enough time during the second boss round to reset up your board into a better position. I'm using thermonuclear reaction as opposed to the double throws. Or the double elixirs. So Invigorating Elixir will give your units a speed boost, which is important, but it's not as important as you might think. Because every single time you brew a potion, you are also getting a passive speed boost, and that is actually more important than you getting a temporary speed boost from the elixir. And so what I'd rather have is when they merge or boost their merge rank, they instantly brew and throw an elixir. The other one is you might get double elixirs, but I'd rather have the one where you get where they instantly brew what they're brewing. Summoner, you're using enhanced summoning. That's obvious. And then because you're only allowed the one talent, you just use Fairy of Growth. Because you just want the extra amounts of dryads. You basically put a Earth Elemental on a growth tile and just keep merging onto the growth tiles to increase its damage. The way that Earth Elemental works is the level that it is the amount of units that it hits. It's very similar to a Demon Hunter. So you want to merge it up as much as you can because it'll hit more and more units. And you'll notice that with this deck, a lot of units will spawn onto the field, but your puddles will eventually nuke them down. And then your J is also helping you nuke things down. And you just kind of want to time out when your alchemists brew. So you want to give them a dryad when they don't have the brewing symbol, the beaker symbol next to them, because then they will start brewing another one, and you'll get another stack. They'll increase their speed. Obviously, you want to put your alchemists on to speed tiles, because like them attacking faster is what's going to help your damage, and that's pretty much all you really care about. You just need them to attack faster. You don't want to put like a banner or a Knight statue in this deck. Like, it's just you don't have the space for it. If you took out Earth Elemental and put in a banner or a Knight statue, that just gives you another opportunity to die and to get screwed over, to where you have just a bunch of Dryads and Harlequins and banners and no damage units. You don't necessarily care about giving them golems early game because it's not going to affect them. You basically want to focus golems. You're using your dryads to upgrade your alchemists so that you get the better attack speed from them being upgraded, but you don't necessarily care about timing out your golems early game because they're going to be able to kill them anyway. So there's no real reason to specifically try to focus on trying to kill them early game. So don't use up all of your dryads in the early game trying to do that. It just doesn't matter. You want to use your dryads. If you want to start using your dryads when you start realizing that both of you are struggling, and that's when you just win. I'm gonna start double speeding this. I did this really funny thing in my monk battle that that was the moment that I was just like, I really need to make a video. Like, this is insanity. This is insanity and shouldn't be allowed. Like, there was literally no reason to run anything else. Anything else in this format. It's the Alchemist Golem is just way too good in Royal Trials. I'll say it again though. It's not good anywhere else. It's good for a very specific reason in Royal Trials. Like, look at the damage that this is outputting. Both of us aren't struggling, but the King Pudding, because he has no cleanse, and he's running robot, it's gonna become a problem for him. As you'll see in this next round. We're now going into armored monsters. And this is about the time that you should see that both of the players start struggling. You should start struggling. You should notice that they start struggling. Having 1,000 crit, you're just not supposed to last this long. So right here, I'm basically trying to time out my merges and my upgrades so that I don't have multiple golems on the field at one time. And then you just kind of want to slow them enough to where they die just a little bit quicker than you do. This is me playing against Blade Dancer. Just regular Blade Dancer. He's obviously doing Floral Frenzy because nobody plays Booming Dash except me. Your mileage may vary on this deck. Obviously, I have a level 20 J. As long as you have the speed tiles, you should be fine. My J is obviously going to be a little bit better because it is a max. It's a max J, so I'm getting the wind speed tiles. I'm getting the arrows whenever it attacks. And then every so often, I'm also getting the double activations because the cooldown becomes 0. But I think in whatever format you're playing in, whatever, like, wherever you are in the rankings, I feel like this deck is very strong. It's much stronger than it should be, is what I'm trying to say. And the fact that it has no cooldown, like, nothing in this deck has a cooldown. You can just keep using this over and over and over and keep getting maximum points. Ironically, when they implemented the cooldown feature and the energy bars, it was so that nobody could keep running the same deck over and over and just keep winning with the same strong, powerful deck. And for some reason, they still haven't nerfed this thing. And all they'd have to do is give Alchemist a cooldown. And since they haven't, I feel like you should take advantage of this, of the fact that they haven't, because it should really have a cooldown. Like, I'm gonna abuse this, but, you know, this is their fault. This is their fault for not understanding how good Alchemist Golem is in this format. I feel like most YouTubers would just keep this a secret so that they could just keep abusing it. And I kind of want like Rush Royale to know. Like, I don't think Rush Royale watches my videos or anything, but like maybe. Like, and I think telling people that, you know, to use this will make Rush Royale notice that a lot of people are using this. Because it's insane. Puppeteer is a very problematic boss for Blade Dancer, and so I knew that I really wanted to affect their field here. Because they're struggling, if you send them golems while they're struggling, if you notice that, the Puppeteer boss, their next boss, will become so big that they won't be able to kill it in time, and they'll get puppeteered. I only did it because I knew that they were struggling. When the monsters get to like half field and they're not destroying them, that's when you golem them. You golem them when it matters. Like, you actively golem them when it matters. Like a King Pudding if they don't have cleanse. A Monkey King. A Bedlam. A Puppeteer if it's a Inquisitor style deck. And so here I can literally just keep merging out all of my my alchemists to just trainer like my entire field for the rest of this round because he was already struggling. I'm gonna play this in full because this battle was insane. I was very positive this was going to be it. This was going to be the time that I lose. I was probably still going to do the video, but I wouldn't have felt good about it because I wouldn't be able to be like, I win against everything. But I was like, Monk is so broken right now, and I was like, there's no way that I win against this. He's running the bad one, though. He's running Blessing. But then what he decides to do is just build the 1T. And that's what you would do for Blessing anyway, but Equilibrium is infinitely better. But the problem with a level 9 Monk, he's also running Trainer, which isn't great either. The problem with level 9 Monk is that you have, even if you have Equilibrium, if you full field, you don't have level ups. So even if he had the level 5 mermaid, you don't. Even though you're getting the increased damage, you don't have level ups, and your level 1s and level 2 monks are just gonna attack so slow that you will eventually get overtaken by whatever they're playing. But he plays Blessing. I think he builds 2 T's, and then just superpowers them. And I was very positive that I was going to die against this. And when I realized that I wasn't going to die against this, I was like, oh my god, Alchemist is so good. I decided to go all in on this level 4 Earth Elemental. And you'll see it like attack multiple targets. That's the power of Earth Elemental at higher levels. And then I don't need to. I can be like stingy on my J here as well, because I know that I can nuke down a boss with the J. So even though Puppeteer is a pretty problematic boss for me in the early stage, because I'm trying to set up my board, I'm pretty positive that I can just kill it with J and a golem. Just right there, yeah. Is he running Mage Robe? Everybody runs Mage Robe. Mage Robe is becoming like the new Hunter's Jacket. There was a time when everybody ran Hunter's Jacket as the best equipment, and everybody has now switched to Mage Robe. He has the ability to just nuke down like so much. He nukes down bosses. He nukes down the wave. Like, Monk is so good. I really thought that I was gonna lose this. He has 2 level 5 monks. Like, he's doing pretty well for himself. A Gorgon isn't going to kill me, so I don't really need to struggle with that. Just having the puddles on the floor is pretty much good enough to kill a Gorgon eventually. But then I also have J, which also helps. I got that level 4 Dryad, and so now I'm able to have a level 5 Earth Elemental, which is obviously amazing on a growth tile. It's basically just hitting my entire field just over and over and over. I was already struggling right here. I get like super Monkey King'd. Like, there was no part of this game that I thought that I was gonna win. Like, I felt very behind here. I knew that I was gonna get super Monkey King. I thought that I might be able to affect his board if I gave him... Oh, see, like right here? Like, this looks awful. This is like with a level 5 and a level 4 Earth Elemental, and I'm just not doing anything. I was pretty sure I was going to die here. Meanwhile, he's just like nuking through everything. I was like, this is it. This is going to be the one thing that I can't beat, because Monk is too good right now. He has 3 Ts. Like, it looks kind of good right here. It's a 1.4 million. Look at him nuke through this. Still trying to deal with this. Still trying to deal with this. I don't know why I did that really late, Jay. I haven't even upgraded my Alchemist or my Earth Elemental to max because I've been doing so much stuff just on my board, just to like establish a board presence. I'm trying to time out my golems here, because I had a couple of dryads that I could use. Like, this also doesn't look good for me, obviously. I think I get super warlocked. And he basically just nukes through this warlock. And it's done. He doesn't even get hit once. And this is my board. I get the double activation of J right here. This is my board. Look at this. Like, I was very positive I was going to lose. I've used up so much mana, and I was like, I'm gonna lose. This is it. Like, I can't beat Monk. But I knew that if I could survive this round, all I would have to do is merge out everything, and it wouldn't matter if I got hit by the assassin if he died. All I have to do is stall out my board and just wait. Because even if he stalls out as well, or if he's able to deal enough damage to this wave, he's not going to be able to deal with an entire board. Or a full assassin with that amount of monsters on his field right now. He's not going to be able to deal with a full assassin and then all of my golems. So here, I just literally merge out everything because I don't care anymore. I'm either going to win this round or I'm going to die next round. And I just end up winning. And that's how you win. Like, it just beats everything. And when you would normally stalemate, if we were both playing regular decks, like if I was playing Booming Dash and he was playing Monk, like, and we both took a hit, whoever had slow would win. Like, that's the only, like, it gets to a point in the game where both players can't deal that amount of damage with 1,000 crit. But when you have, like, Alchemists, that can not only give your opponent a golem when it levels up with the dryad, but also when they merge together. It's just like when Demonologist used to be used to get free wins when your opponent would be Gorgoned. If your opponent got like a full Gorgon field, which again, if your opponent does get Gorgoned, you can just merge out all of your Alchemists and just auto hit them and win. Like, it's insane. I don't know. Like, I can't understate how good this is. You use Alchemist Golem, and I hope they nerf